when's the first time you realized the danger and what is the CCP actually doing towards the world?
Well, the first time I probably was endangered when I went to Hong Kong for the handover in '97, and it was a glorious moment. I thought, England honored their commitment. It was a lease. They gave it back early. There was a big celebration and ceremony, and the Prince of Wales was there, and they had fireworks. And when the handover happened, the Chinese army marched in, and the first thing they did, they were goose stepping, and that's really scary. They had red paint. They weren't celebrating. They painted right over the royal mailboxes. First thing they did. I walked right by me, and it was really scary. It was an intimidation, and they stamped the CCP sign on it. And I was like, this might not end well. I might not be good, but I was still very naive because I never thought it would be. I always thought China would be part of the West. I did. And I thought that, eventually, now they have Hong Kong, the most powerful capitalist economy the British built, and the Chinese together, and the perfect combination. And so we'd all be in harmony in West. It probably became more apparent to me probably during COVID, really from Steve Bannon. I have to give him credit because he loves China and studied China, was a naval intelligence officer, and he brought in a lot of Chinese dissidents that were telling us what was going on, and that their mission was not to help the Chinese people, that the Chinese people. And he started reading about organ harvesting from starting with, way back in Tibet with the abuse of Tibet, and then the Falun Gong, and then the Christians. The Christian Chinese have been abused, and now the Uyghurs, the Muslims. It doesn't matter. And the organ harvesting, and we're still making movies about the Nazis, and that's fine. But we have a genocide going on right before our eyes, and it's not being reported in the West, and that made me realize that we have a problem. And in fact, my daughter did a film on the Uyghur genocide, and she was a film student at NYU, and she got a C on the project. And guess where her professor spent his summers?
Oh, where?
Beijing.
Of course.
He was paid more money or as much money for just going in the summer. And so now we realize why she got the C.
Yeah.
And it was a real film. It was all documented, and so that made me really realize we have a real problem here. And then the real thing that really broke my heart was in Hong Kong when the Chinese marched into Hong Kong, and not what they did. We knew that, the Chinese Communist Party. Communist Party were just evil. They're just like gangsters. And there was no accountability. The Western press let them off the hook. So if you guys are history majors, I remember studying 1937 Czech Republic, and the Nazis marching in and just taking it, and Western appeasement. And we vowed never to do that again. Just like we disassociate from admitting a Holocaust happened in Ukraine. 4 million people, Ukrainian men disappeared and went off to labor camps. This has been going on, the same story being told.
Right.
So we just watched it again, and now we failed our children, we failed our West. The West, not and you guys are fighting, but we're not. We're certainly not our president and not our press, who claims to be free and woke, but they're not. And that's why I'm here.